Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm. Hello, 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 hello. So, as this video says, this is a book that I have read, and it is called Professional Troublemaker, the Fear Fighter Manual. I am so excited to talk about this book today. Lovey Jones wrote this book, y'all. She wrote this book for a black girl like me. And I say for a black girl like me because it's not one of those like let me just jump into it. She wrote this book for me, y'all. So I was talking to a friend, and my friend reminded me that she reminded me that the reason that so this morning she sent me a text message, and she was saying to me, she was like, "Oh my goodness, I see um, that you're starting this book chat. I'm super excited about this book chat. I cannot wait to see you starting this book chat." But what she did not know was, before I told her, she did not know that I was afraid. I was afraid of starting the book chat because for so long I was called the student in class. They were calling me nerd. They were calling me brainiac. There were so many cruel names. Children are mean, so many cruel names that they were calling me. And I was like, I would love to share my love for reading and then also share my love for community and put it together and create a community for those types of people. And so that's what I have done with the book chat. If you go back to the last video that I posted, you will see that I was talking about the book chat. And then yesterday, I was supposed to be live last night. Well, I had the intention on going live, and I was not feeling well. And so I was like, man, I owe them something for today. And so here I am today, bright and shiny, and super excited about sharing with you my thoughts on this book. The book is called Professional Troublemaker, the Fear Fighter Manual. I absolutely love this book. And I'm going to give you three reasons why. Before I give you the three reasons why, I'm going to share with you that, firstly, why I started reading this book is because I have a friend and she as well is a reader. And so I was like, man, this is a way for us to be intentional in our friendship. We can read a book together, and every week we can meet with one another. And before that, I had a book chat in a WhatsApp community with a few ladies, and we would always meet. We were reading, we still are, but individually reading Ayala Van Zant, however you say it, Ayala's book, from the if you know, her TV show is You Can Fix Your Life. And she wrote a book. It is actually, I have it here. She wrote this book. Um Really good if you can't tell. It's called Acts of Faith. And so we were reading this book in a book chat together. And so I wanted to do something more close to home to me, which is to be in community with my friends and be intentional with my friend. And so I wanted to read this book together. And so we were choosing between two different books, and we chose this book. And y'all, the best decision ever was for us to read this book. What is that? Oh, that's my cover. The best decision ever for us to read this book together, especially at this place in my life. I have seen several ideas come through my mind and several ideas come through my hand, my heart. And then what would happen is people around me would do those ideas. And I was like, at one point, I was like, man, what's happening? Like, maybe all of these ideas are not for me, which they all are not. That is true. And the other truth of the matter is that I was not executing the ideas. I would do all of this. I was telling my friend this morning, I would do some preparing, but I would do preparing behind the scenes. And when I would prepare behind the scenes, I would not put that idea out into the world in a very magnanimous way. I would just put it out very small because I didn't want to be too much. She talked about that in this book. She talked about being too much. So that's a little bit backstory of why we started reading this book and how I started reading this book. I was being intentional with a friend, and I was like, hey, let's pick a book to read together. We will meet every week and we will chat. And it has been lovely. And we had our finale yesterday. So maybe that's what it was. And my friend is going to go off to camp for some time. And so because she's going away, it was an amazing way for us to end on a book read together where we're meeting every week. I want to say for about at there are we missed one meeting, and we were doing those voice notes, and there are we met 7 times. For 7 weeks we were meeting, and there were a total of 16 chapters, so we've actually met 9 times. I may have the number wrong, 8 or 9 times we met intentionally together to talk about this book. And the way she breaks the book down, before I tell you what I learned from this book, and what I learned from this book, and then also tell you how I am applying what I've learned from this book, is so the first chapter section is be, and then she has say, and then she has do. So be, say, then do. I got something from every single like section of the book. What I learned from this book is to dream audaciously, to dream big. She taught me, and I wouldn't necessarily say she taught me, this is what I've taken from the book, for that what landed for me for this space in my life is that I should dream audaciously. I should have these big dreams. And so I was like, I have dreamed, but then one day I'm also in another community, and it's called the Be Free Inner Circle. And in her community, every month she does a challenge. And one of the challenges was for us to do like a show up for you challenge. And then I think this month's challenge is the fear challenge. And so I already was reading this book. So I had some gas in my tank. So this was like, I was probably on half a tank with this book. And then when I continued to I continue to be inside of these fears and like feel what they feel like in my body and see what they look like in my life and how they are impacting what I am doing and what I'm not doing, then I was like, you know what? I'm going to face these fears. Me and you, we finna be eye to eye. We finna be toe to toe. And I don't know if you've ever had a time in your life where you wanted to do something and you got scared about it. You were like, oh my goodness, I don't know. I remember this brings up a story for me. Me and my husband, at one point, we were traveling, and we were staying in a hotel. And this specific hotel was just a one-nighter. We were tired. We were going to sleep in this hotel, and then the next day we were going to leave. And so we did not go for something really, really expensive. We was just like, we're going to just go here because this is cheap. We can sleep for the night. We can rest, lay our bodies down, get a good shower, and leave in the morning. So we stay at this hotel, and somebody, like in the middle of the morning, somebody shoots outside of the hotel door. And I have my daughter with me as well. We have my 1-year-old daughter. She might have been, she was maybe 1 at the time. And so I hear this, and I in the instance that I hear the shot outside the door, my body feels like it's taken over itself. Like I can feel it in my body. Let's see what the feeling felt like. It was feeling like defeat. I felt defeated, as if something was happening that was out of my control. I remember like childhood memories, like all the things were triggered in my mind. Childhood memories of feeling like I wasn't in control. Adult memories, teenage memories of when I felt like I wasn't in control. And I was like, this is crazy. And so I was like, man, fear came over me. And I did not realize it was fear until later. And so what I did was I told my husband, I was like, man, we cannot stay here. It is time for us to leave now, because I don't know. I feel out of control. And he tried to calm me down. He was like, Sierra, it's okay. Doing what amazing husbands do. And he calmed me down, tried to. And I got to a space where I was like, no, I cannot do this. I feel this in my body and I feel unsafe. And so that is what fear comes to alarm us, that our basic needs are being threatened. And my basic need at the time was to get some rest in a quiet and safe environment. And my safety was being compromised at that point. I don't know what the individuals were into it about, but I do know that I feel as though my safety is being compromised. And right now, that is a basic need for me. And so I share that to say that fear is a natural mechanism that happens for us, and it's not happening to us but happens for us. It is notifying us that our basic needs are threatened. And so when I started to look at these fears that I had, I was like, my basic needs are not threatened. These are not actual fears. So let's face these fears. And one of the fears is what I'm doing now. I am on YouTube and I am sharing my journey, and I have started a book chat since reading this book. I'm telling you, like, the book has been something that I'm like, I have to share this. This will be the first book that I share. So I wanted to give that little bit. So here we are. What I learned, what I just said first, is to dream audaciously. There's a part in the book where she talks about a group of white men are, let's see, I have it marked. A group of white men are like standing around, and they this is the statement. It says, "Did you know mountains are up for sale? Because I surely didn't." Now let's talk about that. And so it goes all into so it goes into all. I was trying to read something in the book, but it goes into basically the questions that she said she would have asked them. And so I'm going to read you the questions because they were so good, and they helped me to think like, these are the types of dreams that I want to have. Like, I'm going to dream audaciously, but my dreams should be so big that people should be asking me these questions. How did the conversation about the mountain even go? So the mountain represents for me this dream that I do not feel comfortable sharing on YouTube just yet, but this dream, that my dream. So whatever the dream is, I want you to close your eyes and imagine, what is that thing? Let's just say my dream is for me to have a library, a public library where people can come in and get books. And there will be books all over this library. There'll be an upstairs, there'll be a downstairs, and then there will also be a cafe inside of this library. Let's say that's my dream. And so that is my mountain. And so did you ever laugh at the first person who brought up, did anyone laugh at the first person who brought up this dream that they had? Why were they all on something? Like, was something else influencing their mind when they were dreaming about these things? When they reached, okay, let's buy this mountain, or let's do this, whatever that dream is for you, consensus, were they afraid of this idea of this dream? What like, nobody was like, oh my goodness, this is too big of a mountain for us to purchase. First of all, stop here. A mountain, not a rock, not a hill, not a valley, a whole entire mountain. These men are thinking about buying a whole entire mountain. That just blew my mind. Who do you call when you're looking to buy a mountain? I know there's no Yellow Pages listings for that. So basically, she is saying, like, she dreaming big in itself is huge. Like, it's a huge mindset thing. And I was like, man, I have a privilege to dream. I can dream. That is huge. I can dream. And not only can I dream, which leads me into my next point, I can start to dream by first being myself. First being myself. And if you go back to your childhood, you remember the teacher always asking in elementary school, middle school, high school, they will always ask, they will say, what is it that you want to be when you grow up? And the thing that I recognize now as an adult is the question now reframe, who is it that you want to become when you grow up? Who is it that you want to become? And so that is something that I took from this book, is to be myself. Be myself. Whatever it is, the dreams that I'm dreaming, however big that they are, I still must be myself. This brings up another story for me. The other day, I was talking to a couple of friends, and I was explaining to them in a group text, and I was like, I was explaining to them, I went to go get my eyebrows arched and I went to get my nails done. And the day I went to get my nails done, like my feet and my hands, it was super busy in there. And so I was explaining to them about how I was like, man, I think I am a princess. And when I say princess, what I really mean is, like, I think I'm prissy and, like, I need this special attention. And they were like, girl, you're a queen. First of all, let's correct it. You're not a princess. You are a queen. And it is okay to want to make an appointment. Because I was making a lot of noise around wanting to make an appointment for my nails instead of actually just going in and doing a walk-in. I don't know, but I'm like I do know. The thing is, I want that special attention that comes with sitting at the table and getting my nails done because I have requested your time. And that reveals a little bit more about myself, that quality time is my love language, and well, one of my love languages. And because of that, I want the pleasure and I want the so I want the pleasure and I want the experience of sitting down with my special nail tech. And they were like, you can have that. And I was like, oh my goodness. And so in that moment, it was like, man, I must speak up for myself, which is something else that I learned from this book. Is that there's a part in here, there's a section in the book. So she has be, say, and do. And basically speak up for myself. Speak the truth is in this chapter section. Ask for more, get your money, draw your line. So she's talking about boundaries. She's talking about asking for more, fail loudly, like be okay that failure is going to get you to the success that you desire. That's what I took from that. That's not probably how she said it, but it's like be okay that failure is probably the thing that's going to get you to where you're going. Continuing to try, continuing to do the thing that you're doing, being yourself, dreaming audaciously, and speaking up for yourself. 3 things that I have learned from this book. And then the last thing that I will share for you, well, there's 2 more. Let's see which one I want to share first. The old me was necessary. I took that from this book as well. That the person, the woman that I used, the girl, the teenager, the child that I used to be, those all of that was necessary. Everything I went through was necessary to see this woman that I am today. And then this woman that I am right now, she is necessary for the next woman that I'll become and for the next woman. And the more and more I become and grow into who I really am, I am going. All of these versions of me is necessary to make this beautiful me. And so I was like, man, girl, you better write this book. You better write this book. And the last thing that I would share that I actually really, 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 really am taking from this book, and there's so much good in there's so much good in that book, is that community is essential. There is a chapter in the book, and you would have to purchase the book yourself to see. But there's a chapter in the book where she talks about how her friends like paid for her to go, like I think it was a bachelorette thing for her. It was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. They paid for her trip for everywhere, like everything. And so what that taught me is that we are planting seeds in our relationships. And if you want to, eventually it's going to turn into a harvest. And when that harvest is ready to pull, or like, let's say I planted corn seeds, I want to be able to pull most of the harvest that I planted. And so it's like in friendship, what that like, and she talks about building your squad when it comes to community as well. And so I put those 2 hand in hand. Build your squad. So the people that are around you should be reflections not only of you, but of like you should have people on all the levels, is what I got from that. Like not just everybody that is like you, but you want to have a well-rounded community. And then everybody won't have the same access to you that's even in your community, but you want to have a well-rounded community. I took that from this as well. And back to the story about her friends, because I still adore that story. She basically was saying that her friends pay for everything. And I thought that was beautiful. She just had to show up. And it was hard for her to accept that this was a gift that her friends were gifting to her. These are her friends. So they know her, they see her, they love her, and they are meeting her and saying, hey girl, we appreciate who you are. And so that goes back to my other point, to be myself. Be myself. And so if you are facing fears, I have another thing I want to share with you as well, is but if you are facing fears, this is a great book to read because it's going to walk you through that process. It's not just going to go straight in and just go in on you. And she's funny as well. I mentioned that. It's humorous, it's helpful, and it's honest. She's very honest in this book as well. And I love that it wasn't just straight like fear is not, is not something that looks nice. But at the end, she basically tells you like fear is not, the point is not to be fearless, but to know when we are afraid and just keep going anyways, to keep going anyway. So if you are facing your fear, if you are facing fear at any level, because everybody's fear is different and it's different at different levels, and what you fear and what I fear are going to be two different things. If you are facing fear at any level, you want to read this book. It is amazing. And the last part and the last point that I have for you is, how am I applying it? I don't think that we just read books and get knowledge and do all of the work internally just to be doing it. I know for myself that as I read, I look to apply the things that I read. And so as I was reading this book, I began sharing on YouTube. But before I started on YouTube, I in my own personal life, not the cybernet, I have been really facing these challenges, really speaking up for myself. I have been dreaming audaciously. I have been being my most authentic self. And I already was a part of community. And community is a new value that I have adopted, and I continue to like. I love my community that I have right now, and they are amazing people. They are amazing people. And I look to continue to grow my community. Everybody is not the same as me. Everybody doesn't think the same. They don't believe the same. They're not doing the same. Like, all of my friends are not on YouTube. All of my friends are not in community, but I love my community because it's so versatile. And they each challenge me. They each add to me in some type of way, or I am challenging them, or they are like, it is so good and fulfilling and fulfilling. I don't know why I keep doing my shoulder like that, but whatever. It is so good and fulfilling and nurturing, another word, a nurturing to have those people around me. So yeah, that is that for this book. I thoroughly enjoyed it. That is my first book review I have ever done on the internet. Like I said, I could not recommend it more. And I'm gonna read a few quotes from the book just in case you're like, oh, I may not, you may be on the fence about purchasing the book, and you may be like, well, from what you shared, Sierra, I'm not sure you're talking about actually facing your fears. But I promise you, all of those things are monumental in building you up to actually face the fear that you are facing, or fears, because I have more than one, and they're each at different levels. However, the things and the tools that she puts in this book, in this book, and the love that she put in this book, the compassion, the truth that she put in this book is very helpful for you and for me to go to the next step, and whatever the level that you are in facing fears, or this acknowledging that you even have fears, because some people don't even know that they have fears. So I've take a sip of my tea and then I'll keep going. Okay, so I'm going to read to you a few things that I highlighted. Oh, the part that I did not mention before I share with you these quotes. Let me go to the first page of the quote. And I don't know how that slipped my mind. She incorporates her heritage, like her culture in this book. I need me a Nigerian friend. She incorporates that. She talks about Nigerians, because she is Nigerian. And she talks about, and she is in the book, in and out, in and out. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And at the end, she talks about how we all need a Nigerian friend. And I was like, girl, the way that you just talked about them, I definitely want me a Nigerian friend. Definitely. I want to be gassed up. I want, in those moments when I don't see myself as who I really am, I want my friends to gas me up. And I want them to tell me how beautiful, how amazing, and how I got it. I'll give you her examples, because that's not how they said it. But I'll give you her examples at the end. Let's see. Maybe I'll go there now. That is my alarm. She basically talks about how her friend, this is what she says about that. There is power in the gassing up that goes beyond the looks. It is an exercise in infusing confidence and courage in each other. It is a braveness drill to get you to understand how dope you look and are, and how unstoppable you truly are. Yes, not that my friends don't do that already, but I just think that because it's in their heritage and it's a part of who they are, I would love to have a Nigerian. So if you watch this and you are a Nigerian and you want to be friends, we ain't gonna just be friends, but we can start the journey to see if we even match up to be friends. Okay. The other quote that I will read for you is about I want to say it's in the speak section. It has to be because she's talking about, yes, speak the truth. It's in that section. The tell the truth even when our voices shake. Tell the truth even when it might rock the boat. Tell the truth even when there might be consequences, because that in itself makes us more courageous than most people in the world. Use these 3 questions. Know your voice is necessary. I'm going to say that again. Know your voice is necessary, and speak truth to power. Even a whisper of truth makes a difference in an echo chamber of lies. That's powerful. Okay. And that is one of the things I had underlined. And then that is one of them. Let's see. And then I just read you what she said there. And then I have another thing about get you a Nigerian friend. I kind of want to read to you one of the things that I have. One of the things that I'm having inside of the book that she shares. Okay. All right. I remember long story short, she goes into maybe okay, here we go. I have a crew of friends who are all from West Africa. If I go to the squad crew and tell them about an amazing opportunity I got in disbelief, this was worth the wait, y'all. I promise this is worth the wait and me scrambling around trying to find it. Or okay, here we go. If I go to that squad crew and tell them about an amazing opportunity I got in disbelief or with a hint of imposter syndrome creeping through, oh my God, I can't believe it. They set me straight. Why you not? A whole you like this? Who else would it be? In fact, we're upset they didn't call you before this. Why not you? The role you want to audition for, that doctorate you want to earn, that book you want to write, that stage you want to take. Why not you? Are the people who are able to do it not born on the day that ends with the why? They are. We all need that reminder that people who have opportunities are not somehow inherently better than us. They might have more privilege, which pushes them forward. But if the opportunity came to you and you ended up in the same room as the person with the trust fund, you got to be doubly proud of yourself. You did that. A whole unstoppable you. Friends are quick to remind you of it. And it is sweet. It is sweet. That bravado that we carry and pass out to people around us is a gift. It can be misused and become a superiority complex, but I think about how relentless Nigerians can be and how we wear pride like a coat. It might be a coping mechanism because we come from a country where there are more than 200 million people and everybody wants to be somebody. We say, Naja no day carry last. I probably messed up that, but as a creed, an affirmation, and insistent. Nigerians wake up and cough adversity. And then she gives a story about how Nigerian women, some of them are walking around selling or carrying a bucket of water on top of her head, and she's selling it for about in American dollars $1.30. But you cannot tell that woman that to not take up space, and you cannot tell her that she is not shameful about, and she got her head held up high. I thought that was beautiful. I was like, girl, you better walk that street and sell that water and be amazing at selling the water and not be shameful that you are doing something for your family. So I love the parts that she's incorporating about, gassing up her friends and and it's real and authentic. And it's just like, why not you? Why not you? I absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. Okay, so I'll share one more thing. And she incorporates her grandmother in here, and I think the honor that she gives her grandmother and how her grandmother was such a light in her life to help her to become the woman that she is so admonishing. It is so admonishing how she's talking about her inside of this book and sharing, like she even leaves a picture at the end. I will not show you. You'll have to get the book yourself. But she gives us for Milayo Falon. I may said it wrong. However, I wanted to give it a try. And that is her grandmother. And it was amazing. She said her grandmother only, this is funny to me. She said her grandmother only wore pants for two things. One, because it was cold, and two, because she was about to fight. Because of so it's funny. It's funny. It's humorous. It's very helpful, and it's honest. I believe that everybody who is facing fears should get the Fear Fighter Manual by Lovey Jones. I absolutely loved it. And that is book one that I will be sharing here. I will be back to share more books. And like I said, I'm applying this in my life right now. Like I started this whole series on YouTube based off of things that she was saying in this book. And I'm super excited about it. I've gotten more opportunities. It's not just this, because I am in communities as well, but this part was like more gas into my tank. So communities have influenced me being here. This book has influenced me being here. My friends have influenced me being here. And just my own self-belief has influenced me being here. So I am excited to share more books on here that I am reading and that are helpful for me on this journey. That is that.